Well, hello again. We have a little job here that has a few complications in it, made by virtue of these areas at the front that the roof plane projects over the top, and perhaps it'll make more sense if we look at the elevation drawing. You'll see we've got a flat area here and an elevated flat area here at a 12-degree pitch. If we go down to the image of the roof plane, there we go, you'll see how this part of the roof has been extended over the top of the garage and another part in fresh air hanging out there. So that's what we're trying to create. There's no automatic function for these things. Is a little bit unique, and so as a consequence we have to use a bit of cunning and all the tools that the software provides. Now, as we've explained on many occasions with our training exercises, a complicated roof is a series of simple roofs. So the starting point is to create the base roof and then start adding other stuff to it. Now the purpose of this exercise is to explore how we did this. I'm not going to show you how I've imported the image and scaled it. That's been handled by many other videos that we've done over the years, and so we'll just get straight to the task at hand. And the first step to create the base roof, we'll digitize the outline, and as the exercise is about how we create it, not necessarily about my precision, I'm not going to be too fussed about the precision of the geometry. Focus on the process. But in any case, let's get as close as we can, and we're 40 mils out there. That's not too shabby. Okay, get to the penultimate corner, right click, close square, and so this is going to be a pitched roof, 12 degrees, eave overhang. I'm pretty sure it's 450. Curiously, the drawing doesn't show it, but I can measure it if I'm fussed, but I'm pretty sure 450 will do the job. And I'm working at a gutter height of 2500. We'll hit OK and continue, and it builds our roof. So the primary part of the roof that's pretty much right. Well, now we just have to get these two things in, that thing and that thing, and it's deceptively simple. We come back to digitizing from track outline, and if I start middle button snap that corner, so I'm starting exactly at the corner of the perimeter, whoops, and somewhere up there, about there, and then eyeball where that is. Now if I had an exact dimension, no I don't, so I'm going to have to eyeball it. As I said, the focus is on the process, not precision today. So we right click out of there, close square. Now this is a single slope roof of 12-degree pitch at the same eave height. Why is it the same eave height? Because this edge of our single slope roof is coincident with the eave line of the main roof. So we use the same eave height. We hit OK, and now we change the overhang because we want this bit to extend out here. Actually, go back, because we don't want any overhang on that, and hit OK. That's better. And now I'm going to change the overhang on just this end, not that line, correct, yes, and the distance is going to be 450, and we hit OK, and then right click, and then we define a pitching line down there, and it's not the long line, it's the short line. There we go, and continue. So it's built that part. If we look at that from the front view, and a bit hard to see, but it's in there. It's that fella there, view top. Okay, now while we're on a roll, let's plonk this fella in here. So once again, track outline, digitize, and OK. Now, what are we going to do here? Let's do this. Let's digitize from there. Oops. Yep. To there. And somewhere up here. Okay, that'll do. And close square. And this time I'm going to add 450 overhang all the way around. it's still a single slope roof, and we're going to hit OK. And then it's going to want to know the pitching line, and the pitching line is down that side, and we hit continue. Now I've made a mistake here, I know I have, but I wanted to show you this. The next step in this is to get an intersection between this roof plane and this roof plane, and we can do that with this function smart lines to get the intersection between two planes. And if I take that plane and then I want intersection with this plane, that should put the valley where the valley needs to be, but it doesn't. And you go, whoops, why? Well, the reason is, and I've done this on purpose because this is what most people will do initially because they weren't thinking about it. If we go to the front view again, you see the eave height of that one is the same as the rest. But if we go back to our architect's plan, you'll see that, see how it's elevated there? So it's got to be elevated by an amount, and curiously the drawing doesn't show what the amount is. But if I was to guess, I would say it's probably about 250. So we get rid of that, go back to our top view, and we undo that intersection, and then we use modify roof and change the eave height of this fella, and it's currently 2500. We're going to add 250 to it, plus 250, and we hit OK. And now we do the intersection between the two planes, construct roof, intersection between two planes, that one and this one, and it's going to be a valley, and it's almost bang on. So we're getting very close now to a point of having all our planes and what have you sorted out. So let's now, one more thing, this part of the roof actually butts up to the wall there, so I've got to cut out underneath there to give me the geometry I need. And so we'll do modify roof cutout, digitizing the cutout. No, this auto track it, and I'm going to select the plane to cut, and we hit OK. I want to cut that plane after I've selected the outline, that plane, and only that plane. Now it's messed up, don't care. But what it's done is given us the edges that I want to work with. So if we go to our isometric view now, you'll see we've got the lines that will give us the construction lines. So now it's all down to our smart lines functionality. So we're going to delete all the planes that are affected by this mess of a roof, and that one as well. And you say, hang on, I've deleted just about the whole roof. Well, indeed you have. But it's given us all the primary geometry for us to now very quickly reconstruct the roof. Back to our smart lines functions. This is all about smart lines. I'm going to take the end of that line and join to the end of that line, and I'm going to take the end of that line and I'm going to join it to the end of, not that one, that one. Yes. So they've now joined, and now I can put that plane back in. No, yes, and OK. Bingo. Now that's the end. If I go back to the plan view, you'll see what I've done. It's pretty slick. And now if I was to do a bit of cleanup now, it's a useful thing to do. Draw a box around all of that to delete anything that's not related to the geometry I want. And when I draw a box around stuff, it only deletes the stuff entirely enclosed within the box. And so if I take that whole end and clean that up, drawing a box around the whole end, it can't delete anything associated with that plane because it's associated with the plane. And so it cleans up anything else. So anything that's rubbish, it's gone. Something else I'll do here that makes the job a bit easier when you're doing smart lines on things, it's useful to turn the wall lines off. The wall lines just get in the way, and anyway, they confuse me, and I'm going to assume they confuse you most of the time. So the next thing I want to do is I've got to reconstruct that edge, so I'm going to copy, smart lines, copy line. I'm going to copy that line and snap it into there. and then I'm going to trim a corner between that end of that, that end of that. So it's got that part almost done. Not quite, I know that. The next thing I'm going to do is trim a corner between that bit and that bit, and that bit and that bit. Now I can put that plane in. And that's that part sorted out. And now what I've got to do is get this part sorted out. So I'll need an extra bit of, I'm going to change the line styles in a minute, but I'm going to do an extra bit of lines. I'm going to copy that line and snap it into there, and I'm going to grab that into that one, snap it into there. And then smart lines, trim corner, trim that into that to that, and trim that into that to that, and put that plane back in. And delete the stuff we don't need. Don't need that. Now this thing, if we go back to our plan view, you'll realise it needs to flop over there 400mm. So I just use modify roof, extend the barge of that. Yes, and that's going to be 450. And if I'm not sure what's going on under there. We'll have to ask the architect, but I'm not sure what's going on, so we'd probably have to talk to him about that. But yeah, I'd probably want to fix that after I found out what the roof is going to do there, or the carpenter framing guy. And then that's basically it. So yeah, apart from that little wrinkle there, the other bit of wrinkle is that is a single bit of valley, that's a single bit of valley, and that's a single bit of valley. And that's probably not what you want. So what I'd be inclined to do is actually change, if I change that bit of line there to a none line, and I'll change that bit to a none line and that bit to a none line. I'm not sure if you're going to put trim under there. If you're going to put trim under there, use a bit of tuck under. So or whatever. So it really, if I want that to be tuck under flashing, we'll make it a bit of tuck under flashing. So that's a bit of tuck under, that's a bit of tuck under. If there's whatever you're going to do when you do this job. And then I'm going to draw a single line from that end, from middle button snap that end to that end, and make that a valley. And now it's a full length valley from this end to that end, and a little bit of tuck under and a none line, which helps us define the geometry. Okay, well, let's face it, that looks ugly. I'm not real happy with that. So what about we fix that while we're at it? So the way we do that is to delete the plane and zoom in a bit so I can see what we're doing, and copy a line, copy that line and snap it into there, so we can trim the end of it to the end of that. And then we've got a bit of random line there we don't need anymore. No, keep that, delete that, and probably change that line to a tuck under as well. That's it. And then we put our plane back. So like a lot of these things, none of it's impossible. It's just a matter of ensuring that you're paying attention to the detail, and if something needs to be fixed, a couple of minutes and it's fixed. Okay, so as is the case, yeah, that looks much neater. As is the case with all jobs, then once the geometry is right, you check that it is right. So you do your line styles, and you do your dimensions, and you do your overall dimensions, and you check the roof pitch, and yada yada yada. All of that's not an option, it's essential. Okie doke, there's our job. Just about bang on. Thank you to Craig for asking the question, and that is about that. Hopefully that helps, and if there's any other questions at any time, drop me a line. Thanks so much, and stay safe. Bye for now.